What's going on, guys? My name is Wade with Tech Daily. So CES this year had a lot of great tech, as it does every year, but something else CES does really well is cars. I saw fast cars like the folks over at BMW sliding around some M5s in the parking lot, which was really cool. Nvidia also brought their RoboCar, which is an all-electric and self-driving car powered by AI that they hope to take to the track someday soon. And while fast cars are cool, there was also a lot of attention on what's going on inside some of these future cars, with a lot of models and mock-ups of some cockpits and interiors. I would say the couple big themes across all the brands were packing as many screens or as big of a screen inside a car as they can, focusing on a ton of autonomous driving and AI of course, but also paired with an advanced self-driving vehicle, companies seem to want to create a cabin space that almost feels like a living room, with big open spaces, comfortable seats, and all the amenities you could ask for on a long or short self-driving journey. One company I was personally surprised to see at CES this year was Fisker. Now, this isn't quite the same Fisker that brought us the Fisker Karma a few years ago. This is Fisker Inc., a new company from Heinrich Fisker that brings us the EMotion, a really wild but very promising autonomous electric sports car with screens front to back, crazy unnecessary doors, a top speed of 161 miles per hour, and a 400-mile range. Fisker Inc. is aiming for a 2019 production date with a starting price of $129,000. While I'm not exactly counting on Fisker Inc. to be a Tesla killer, I do hope that we end up at least seeing the EMotion on the road in the near future. Another car I really hope to see hit the streets is from a company called Byton, who unveiled their Byton Concept. And I gotta be honest, my thoughts here brought me back to Faraday Future from last year's CES, which basically ended up being a flop, but I think Byton has a lot going for it, particularly in regards to the practicality of their concept. The base model SUV is slated to go 250 miles on a charge, with a performance version aimed at 325 miles. It'll have a modest starting point of about $45,000 and a screen up front across the entire dash that really makes Tesla's screen look like an iPhone, and Byton's can even be controlled using gestures. Although Byton is a Chinese manufacturer, they aim to have US production in 2019 as well, and this is something I certainly have my eye on. Along with the fresh faces, CES also brought out a lot of the big names in automotives like Nissan, who brought over their IMX concept, another electric self-driving SUV type that Nissan says hopes to work flawlessly in harmony with the driver, letting a person seamlessly switch from Pro Pilot autonomous mode to manual driving, even having the steering wheel retract into the dash and reclining the seats for added comfort. Of course, it also has over 370 miles of range and dual motors and a lot of screens. And while we probably won't see the IMX in this form factor on the road anytime soon, it's still a pretty interesting concept. One of the more surprising concepts we saw was from Mercedes-Benz and Smart, who unveiled the Smart Vision EQ, an electric, fully connected, level 5 autonomous car with no steering wheel, no pedals, just a couple seats, and a very flashy design. And they didn't just set this car on stage and let it spin around for people to stare at, it was actually driving up and down the Las Vegas Strip. So even though it is weird looking and literally doesn't have a steering wheel, there's still a lot of potential here, with Smart showing off a promising, semi-functional little car. Mercedes also unveiled their Mercedes-Benz user experience, which in a nutshell is their new dash and center touch display. It incorporates AI to individualize and adapt to the driver and passengers, along with over-air support, voice controls, and a whole bunch of other new features. And this all will actually launch in the A-Class this spring, so it's something we'll see pretty soon. The AMG Project One was also on display, which was super cool to see. That's Mercedes' 1,000 horsepower hybrid supercar that should hopefully see a very limited production run in the near future. And there were also a couple of other things we've seen before at earlier car shows, including the EQA concept, which is kind of hideous, but that's alright, and the pre-production series of the GLC F-Cell, which is a plug-in hybrid that combines fuel cell and battery technology with hydrogen and electricity, and fortunately, this is a car you should be able to buy very soon. Now, Ford didn't bring any new concepts or unveil anything fancy, unfortunately, but they did have an interesting setup showing off some potential uses for their autonomous technology, and they even announced they'll be partnering with a small US city to test out their autonomous cars with small businesses and also create a shared ride transportation system. Now, Ford goes beyond just suggesting that your next Postmates order might come from a self-driving car. They actually want to develop a fully autonomous city with buses and taxis and bikes and stoplights all communicating with one another to eliminate traffic and work efficiently. I'm not sure that we're that close to a fully autonomous city yet, but Ford is definitely making a lot of progress. progress. I think one of the most futuristic looking cars showcased at CES this year was Toyota's Fine Comfort Ride concept, a fuel cell vehicle with potentially hydrogen refueling in 3 minutes or less, and the inside of the car along the windows has also a giant touchscreen or gesture display that I think seems more like a road hazard than anything else, but I give credit to Toyota for making something really interesting. Now, if you're an automotive purist and the thought of electric cars keeps you up at night, then this electric Corvette Grand Sport is probably your worst nightmare. But the folks over at Genovation Extreme Electric brought it to life. For all intents and purposes, this is a C7 Corvette Grand Sport, aside from some small body modifications. But inside, you'll find a 597 kilowatt dual motor, which equates to about 800 horsepower, a 220 mile per hour top speed, and a 0 to 60 time of 3 seconds. Electric or not, it's hard to debate that this is a beast of a car, but what's most impressive is the fact that you can somehow still order it in a 7-speed manual. Only 75 of these will be made with a sticker price of $750,000, not including the cost of the Corvette itself. But I guess if you're looking to burn about $1 million, this is a great option. And while there were a lot of wild and crazy concepts out on the show floor at CES, there were still some simple yet modern rides on display, like the Hyundai Nexo and Kia Niro. But that stuff is all old news compared to the no steering wheel, 30-inch display, level 5 autonomous, all-electric cars of the future. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what your favorite car from CES was this year. Also, be sure to follow Tech Daily on Twitter and subscribe to the Tech Daily YouTube channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys later.